My name is Nikolai Myers, 90-kilo world's strongest man, America's strongest veteran, and former Black Hawk door gunner with this exact cab. Fort Drum notoriously has the name Army's best kept secret, but there's something changing up there and Army-wide that I think the world needs to know about.
You've been effectively here since the start of it, right?
Yes.
What do you see the future for H2F?
I see the future being a complete paradigm shift of the Army's approach to readiness. When it's fully utilized and fully staffed, H2F will be indispensable. It will have such an effect on the hearts and the minds of the soldiers as well as their performance that it won't be up for discussion as to whether or not it's of value. It'll just be a known entity. And in many aspects, we're there, especially here at 10th Cab. We have such great leadership support. Our leadership is in here every week. And when the soldiers see that, there's no disconnect from the ranks. And that also helps a program go. And when you have that top-down leadership and that bottom-up motivation or drive and buy-in, then there's no stopping it.
In 1943, the 10th Mountain Division was activated, initially activated as the 10th Light Division Alpine. Once in Italy, by January 1945, the division had arrived and moved to northern Italy into the northern Apennine Mountains. It was here that they took up positions at the bottom of Riva Ridge and Mount Belvedere, and on February 18th, during a night attack, they conducted the first tact climb in the United States Army's history up Riva Ridge, taking the German forces on top of the ridge completely by surprise and winning the ridge. The next day, the attack would continue by the rest of the division up Mount Belvedere, continuing on up that ridgeline. Through the coming months, would continue its attack through the northern Apennine Mountains into what is known as the hill towns, and they would continue that attack until reaching the Po River Valley by the spring of 1945. During 114 days of combat, 10th Mountain Division moved from the northern Apennine Mountains in northern Italy up through the Po River Valley and into the Italian Alps, fighting around Lake Garda, the biggest lake in northern Italy, as well as conducting what is known as a duck assault, duck being an amphibious 2.5-ton truck. And in assaulting across the lake, they would then capture Benito Mussolini, dictator of Italy, his villa there on the shores of Lake Garda. In December 1992, the division would conduct its first combat deployment. Initially being a humanitarian mission to the country of Somalia, the division would go there to help support the starving people of Somalia, Operation Restore Hope. During Operation Restore Hope, the division would help distribute humanitarian supplies as well as help quell the violence in the civil war that was taking place there. This civil war would eventually end up bleeding over and the division would become involved in combat operations there. Units like the 10th Aviation Brigade, today the 10th Combat Aviation Brigade, would play integral parts in the deployment as well as the combat operations there, not only shuttling troops to and from different hotspots, as well as conducting combat operations using AH-1 Cobra helicopters. Finally then, in October 1993, with tensions rising between local warlords, the 10th Mountain Division would play an integral role in what would become known as Black Hawk Down. The 10th Mountain Division Quick Reaction Force would go out into the city of Mogadishu and help rescue the 100 or so special forces and Army Rangers that were trapped in the city. Here on display here at the 10th Mountain Division Fort Drum Museum, we have a piece of Super 6-1, one of the first Black Hawk helicopters to be shot down during that conflict. September 11, 2001, the terrorist attacks that brought down the World Trade Center tower and struck the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., as well as one of the aircraft crashing into the Farmers Field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, began the global war on terror. 10th Mountain Division, throughout its 20-year history during the global war on terror, played an integral role in this, from being some of the first units deployed to Afghanistan as part of the global war on terror, to being involved in operations during Operation Iraqi Freedom. 10th Mountain Division would play a key role in all of these conflicts, up to when U.S. forces withdrew from Afghanistan in 2021, but continuing operations today in the Central Command area of operation, mainly including the countries of Iraq and Syria to this day. Elements like the captured Dishka that we have back here behind me were some of the items that 10th Mountain Division consistently faced during their operations in those countries. It was also during these conflicts that the division would have 3 of its Medal of Honor recipients receive their award during these operations. You had Sergeant First Class Jared Monty during Operation Enduring Freedom, Captain William Swenson during operations in Afghanistan as well, and Staff Sergeant Travis Atkins during operations in Iraq. Today, the 10th Mountain Division has continued a tradition here on Fort Drum of using these soldiers' names to help identify the physical training facilities here on Fort Drum. Our main gym here on Fort Drum is named after John D. McGrath, the division's only World War II Medal of Honor recipient, as well as then our other 2 gyms, Monty Gym and Atkins Physical Training Facility.
We're building warrior athletes every day with this program, and we're seeing the tangible results.
I've done
H2F is the Army's program designed at improving the modern soldier, combating the struggles of today that we face in our society and in our military. Our mission statement for H2F at 10th Cab is to create a privilege and performance-centered physical readiness culture and elevate through collaborative wisdom and personal excellence the daily behavior, the well-being, and performance and potential of each soldier. So it's 5 different domains. There's the physical, there's the spiritual, there's the mental, there's the nutritional, and there's the sleep domain. And all 5 of those aspects make up every soldier, and they're all important to a soldier's physical readiness or overall readiness to be a soldier.
I've had physical therapists and other rehab specialists say to my face, like, why are they trying to pick up stones when they can barely do like a correct squat, right?
Within our training, embedded within our training principles, with our soldiers, with our tactical athletes, to show them how to organize their body, because they're essentially moving these odd objects, these awkward loads. They're in awkward positions, and they need to know how to organize their body in kind of in odd ways, right? So using strongman implements is a great tool to help us kind of show soldiers, you know, hey, when you're not just picking up a barbell or a dumbbell, this is how you can organize your body against, you know, whether it's a log or, you know, a yoke or a stone or, you know, heavy farmer carries or something like this.
Which movements more accurately represent like real world scenarios, right? Picking up a couch, picking up a television, right? Moving boxes in and out of a U-Haul. I would say maybe we should be starting with that before we start like lifting barbells and stuff like that.
And this new program that we've implemented about a year ago has been extremely impactful for the division. It's impacted readiness. It's impacted the entire United States Army.
Having strong, sound soldiers like that train as strongmen can be helpful to our military altogether.
Strongman definitely falls within that realm of like true functional fitness, like building capacity by moving with load as opposed to like static positions or doing exercises on machines.
When we look at developing people that are in a tactical realm, whether it's law enforcement or, you know, EMS or soldiers, we need to really look at how they're moving functionally. And when you look at, you know, strongman implements, that's essentially what we're doing. If we're picking a stone up off the ground, we need to make sure we're organized from the bottom of the feet all the way up to the top of the skull. And that's a beneficial skill set for anybody, for any human being.
Stuff that the Army does on a regular basis with like ruck marching and also having to do buddy carries, the strongman really amplifies that and takes it to a different level.
As the Division H2F officer, I have the role of kind of integrating all the different units and all the different plans and seeing how we can invest in knowledge and kind of growing the individuals themselves. And so some of the things is with like the in-processing, making sure that we have an involved system right when the soldier gets here, they learn about H2F.
I do see where H2F can really be implemented, and that's at the initiation or the initial gates. And so here we're involved in division and processing. New soldiers come in. The very first weeks they're here, they're getting taught about H2F, and you got to visit that brief. Also, they're going through training for 2 weeks with H2F coaches so they can learn a different way of training. Because up until this time, the mindset of the soldier is exercise as punishment. In basic training, it's often used that way, and in their high school experiences, it's been often used that way. A soldier might say, if I were to ask him, how do you know you had good training? They might say, well, I was sore, I was sweaty, I was tired, I had a high heart rate, and I was doing something difficult. And that's the 5 criteria that they have for good training. But if that's all we use, I can say, meet me in the sauna at 3 a.m., stand on your head, and I'll punch you in the face. Because then you'll be sore, sweaty, tired, have a high heart rate because you're inverted, and you'll be sweating and doing something difficult, but you won't achieve anything. So those 5 things sometimes associate themselves with good training, but they do not predict it.
Strongman is already a team building sport, and the Army is a big team. And we're seeing that time and time again as these soldiers come in here and cycle through and they get stronger and they're able to compete. And that mentality also of being part of a team is great for these soldiers.
Actually drawing a line in the sand that's attainable and being able to reach those has made me more motivated and pumped up to get into the gym and improve myself than it has the previous 10 years. So for anybody that's thinking about it, whether that's strongman, powerlifting, anything, if you're thinking about competing, I would definitely recommend it because it does a lot for you.
Focus used to be on just pure profiles versus now we're investing in how can we get that person ready, lethal, and fit. And that's really our goal.
What draws me to it is a few things. One, it's greatly needed. And 2, the skill sets that's required here is really high. We have everyone from the young to the old, the male and female. We have those that want to train and maybe those that don't want to train so much. And every injury you can imagine. And so just the complexity of the job draws out the best in me and makes me want to do the best for the soldiers. And so that's what really draws me to it. The other thing that really draws me to it is that there's no barrier between me and the soldier. When the soldier needs something, I don't have to bill him, charge him, write up his insurance. I don't have to sell a membership. I don't have to get a commission. I am just able to help them without barriers. And to me, that's more genuine. And so I think the connections are more real and the outcomes are more beneficial.
H2F is essential for us to actually win and fight our nation's battles because it's going to be the only way that we take that population and create and grow them in order to meet the physical tasks that are going to be necessary for our future force.
Showing ripple effects across TRADOC, they're trying to implement at higher echelons, different installations. We're currently drafting a POI of the program to share with other in-processing organizations.
We're a huge fan of it here, from the director all the way down to the injury control team. It's something that's implemented in our gym every day at all age groups, all rank levels. And it's been a huge hit. Our strongman group just continues to grow. Each competition that we go to, the team gets bigger.
It's allowing us to reduce injury and continue to develop soldiers so that when we do fight and win America's wars, we have soldiers ready to go.
I really noticed a difference when one of the Apache pilots came up during the brief and asked me that exact question, hey, I got something going on my shoulder, it's my cyclic hand. Can I go to these guys? And I handed him off to you and you ran with it. And he, let me know if he walks through the door.
Oh, I'm sure he will.